Hey guys, I hope your league is going well. I'm not gonna do a build guide video just yet, and I may not even do a build guide video for this build. Instead, I want to talk about the league experience as a poison animate weapons. And there are a lot of changes in this league. And before I lose some of you, GG is already planning to do some changes to flasks to help with the element immunities, and also some changes to revert some of the mana multipliers on gems. We do agree that the mana changes were too extreme, and we're gonna reduce it a bit. So if you're having big mana issues and you're just not having good time, either use a full link or just wait a bit until GG changes some mana costs. Now, why I decided to do poison? Poison animate weapons is a very old school using 7-inch sleeves. This is non-upgraded version, so it's a lot cheaper, and this weapon drops from Childa or from div cards, I believe. And this is kind of the only way to give minion chance to poison easily. It gives 60% chance, so you just need 40% another chance, and you just use chance to poison support, which used to be called lesser poison. So my experience so far, I did not notice any difficulty increase while going through first 10 acts, because I only had a falling, and if you only had a falling, you didn't really lose that much damage compared to what falling damage used to be before all the damage nerfs. And I was leveling with animate weapon right from the start. I was using ethereal knives to get the blades on the ground, and then use the animate weapon. So you don't need to get weapons, you don't need to carry weapons in your inventory, and you don't need to get the kills to get the weapons from monsters. Later on, I replaced that with the Bladefall linked with Spell Cascade, Hex Touch, and Despair now. I only switched to Poison at around, I don't know, level 50 something, and I mean, my experience was pretty fine. The damage was fine on a falling, and it was melee splash, minion speed, actually minion damage as well, and then animate weapons. Yeah, but later, once I got to maps, oh boy, I'm having a lot of issues. It was fine, but in certain maps I'm gonna add some clips where I was just getting absolutely destroyed by monsters. I believe it was, what was it called? Not Val Temple, Val Pyramid, with the boss trio. And the map was Enemy's Poison. By the way, Monster Poison got buffed quite a lot. Bleed as well. All the elements for enemies got kind of buffed. But especially Poison is super scary, and Bleed can also be very scary. And that map was with Enemy's Poison, I believe Chain, yeah. And I was just getting absolutely destroyed by those enemies, by those bosses. But I think I was getting destroyed by the Reeve boss. So that's one issue, but I can improve the survivability for this build quite easily, because I have kind of bad items. I only got 5 link. Most of my items have like 40, 50 life. Some of them have like 70, 80 life, like shield and boots. I can improve survivability on this build quite a lot more, because I don't have all the light nodes. This is only level 80, by the way, right now. But I cannot really improve minion survivability all that much. And animate weapons do have even more HP than some raging spirits, so they should be pretty tanky. Of course, animate weapons can be directly targeted by enemies, while SRS cannot. So I don't know, not even bosses, some monsters that create AoE attacks just absolutely melt my minions, and it feels so bad to keep resummoning them. I even got a helmet with the helmet enchantment, which, by the way, the helmet itself is pretty bad. By the way, all this experience is with the, like, a very starter items, with nothing special, nothing OP. I invested maybe like, I don't know, 50, 60 hairs in this build so far, but that was with the league start prices. And yeah, I am not having good experience right now. One big issue is Poison needs a bit of time to ramp up the damage, but even like single target is kind of fine. I'm gonna also add some clips killing like baby conquerors, like the newborn conquerors with no like stones, and those die pretty fast. But I think most builds don't have the issue with the baby conquerors. But the poison, I'm not sure if poison is actually doing much damage. I do have also, what is the jewel called? the unique jewel Amanamu's Gaze. Your minions basically get up to 30% damage over time multiplier. And I also have a bunch of jewels that add flat here's damage to minions. And my link, I am not using minion damage support because that minion damage support now has 25% less minion life. And I got rid of that. I do not use it anymore. Now my animate weapons are linked with Change the Poison, Void Manipulation, Melee Splash, and added here's damage. I do swap Melee Splash for multi-strike for single target, for when there is only one target, like Conquerors. And the clear speed feels pretty bad. Once there are too many enemies, my minions just get absolutely overwhelmed. They start attacking different targets, and that means we cannot really ramp up the poison, and it just doesn't work so well. They start dying, then I have to keep resummoning. It's just a mess, and it's just not a pleasant experience. It could be improved. This is on a 5 link, and it's still level 18 gem with +2 global modifiers because this is Necromancer. I thought about going Occultist and getting like exploded things, but my minions would have even less HP, and they would have less duration, and I don't really like resummoning them all that much, even if it is only once every a minute if they don't die. Not really a good experience with animate weapons, especially poison. Maybe it would work better with the different setups, maybe with like cold, full conversion. The reason why I did not go Chains of Command, because Chains of Command has its own issues. It is better for clear speed because it auto animates weapons, but it is worse for single target when you have to go back to trade and then you lose it, and you lose your minions, and then you come back and you have to resummon them again by killing enemies yourself. It's just a different experience, and I did enough Chains of Commands build, so I did not want to do it. And like I mentioned, poison damage got buffed by 50%, so that was the reason why I decided to go poison and test this very old school poison animated weapon build with the Severed in Sleep. One good thing that minions recover 20% of their life when we kill a poison enemy, which keeps them alive quite a lot, and my minions also have quite a bit of haste resistance, and all of my minions have 70% elemental resistances, so it's not like they don't have any elemental resistances. Did not do Uber Lab yet. I could get a bit more tankiness, maybe. Like, I don't really have enough sockets for anything else right now, but I could get Bone Bearer, which would give me mitigation and a bit more mitigation for minions, because that's like further. Actually, minions have 20% more life. That would actually give quite a lot more. So minions would become tanker. By the way, I could also get +1 to physical skills amulet, which would also boost animate weapons. And if you get like level 21 animate weapons, we would of course get a lot more life and more damage, and maybe it would be enough to keep them alive, but it's not pleasant. Some enemies just instantly melt all of my minions, and it just feels very bad. By the way, as a 6th link, I would probably use Unbound Ailments to increase the poison duration a lot more, because right now it's like 2 seconds poison duration. It doesn't really ramp up all that much. So yeah, that's kind of my experience. By the way, as for the other changes, like the flash changes, damage changes, I think are fine. Like this build is not really that great, so damage is not that great. For clear speed, movement speed, for me it's not that bad, because with this build, if I cannot kill enemies faster, then why I don't need to move faster, right? But yeah, movement speed do feel pretty bad. I wish that we at least improved the base movement speed. That would have been maybe a bit better. I do like automating flasks. I really like this idea that you can add instilling orb and roll different modifiers on different conditions. For example, this one, Aquamarine, which by the way is gonna get buffed to 60% reduced effect of freeze on you. I roll this one when you become chilled. Then it uses the flask automatically, which is actually bad, because once you walk on the chilling ground, it also uses it. And also this immunity is gonna get buffed from 1 second to 4 seconds. After we do those changes, it should feel a bit better to use flask, utility flask, but for me, I don't really like using flask, so I may even go back to the free life flask meta. that I was doing like 4 or 5 years ago. I'm gonna include path of building import code for this build. I actually interesting idea. I had interesting idea, but I tried it. It seemed fine, but then I started like theory crafting and checking numbers, and it just did not really make much sense. The idea was to use dominating blow. Yeah, dominating blow is such a new skill, but dominating blow, but also use Herald of Purity and Battle Mage Cry linked with Absolution. So you basically use Battle Mage Cry. When you attack, it would create Absolution spell. Absolution is like a spell that hits enemies, and if it kills enemies after, it basically attacks enemies just like Dominating Blow. And if enemies die after we get tagged with that debuff, it summons a spell version of Dominating Blow minions, which cast the same looking spell. And I thought that would be really cool. Like I attack with Dominating Blow, I summon dominated minions. Then I got Herald of Purity minions and also summon Absolution minions. But once I started checking the numbers, Absolution minions would have like 30k DPS combined, while other minions would have like almost a million DPS combined. So it just doesn't make sense to use Absolution. And also I had a lot of bad things about Absolution minions. Some say AoE doesn't really work. Some say it has pretty bad clear speed but decent single target. And it is kind of annoying that you have to. It's only 25% chance to summon Sentinel of Absolution on hitting a unique enemy. Otherwise, it is on kill. So for clear speed, it feels fine to summon them, but on a single target, you have to cast on average, let's say 4 times to summon 1 minion, and you can have 3. So you would have to hit the enemy like 12 times, right? On average. Which doesn't seem good, but then again, I mean, like you're gonna be doing damage. I don't know. Absolution seems in a bad spot right now, at least from what I had. I'm gonna be testing more skills. I mean, I did test some other skills and actually wrote a couple interesting ideas. Maybe I should do a separate video about. I don't know. I don't want. Spectral. I tested Spectral Helix does not bounce off Frostwall, has no interaction with the Hydrosphere. I also tested Static Strike with Battle Mage Cry. It does not continuously proc the spells linked to Battle Mage Cry, only on initial hit. Interesting thing was Winter Orb Casual Channeling with the Eye of Winter. Both benefit from multiple projectiles, so I may do a build something with Winter Orb Casual Channeling Eye of Winter, but I'm not sure. Casting, standing still and channeling could be dangerous as always, so I don't know. I'll figure out what build to do. I have a couple other ideas, like with Flicker Strike, Battle Mage Cry. Maybe that, but I really want to make a new build because this does not feel good. Unless some of you have like a really glowy brain idea how to improve this poison build. I'm not even sure what I need. Sometimes animate weapons have like tendency to get stuck behind doors fighting. If enemies next to the doors, we just all cluster together and try to hit the same target and do not pass through the doors, and it just feels so bad when other enemies just shoot to you through the doors. I don't know if this can be fixed, if it's even worth fixing it. I hope your league experience is going well. I did not really have like any good things dropping from new league mechanics. I did get some interesting items from the one that upgrades items, that NPC, but like I got +3 bow with extra additional arrows, but I'm not sure if no one is buying those. I found some interesting jewel, some like top roll jewel, but also no one is buying, so I'm not sure. So far I haven't really got anything cool from new league, and I really don't like reading. I hate the immunities. I think immunities are stupid. That was one of the things that I hated from Diablo 2, the immunities, and yeah. But the league is interesting. It just, as always, every league needs to be improved. Like 2 weeks in the league, then we get more improvements, and then the league becomes pretty decent. We'll see how the league is gonna go. So for now, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.